Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Ken the Revolutionary for another quick session, a second session, real brief. I know most of you guys are out there probably getting yourself ready to watch Arsenal play Atletico Madrid if you're a football fan, that is. So, yeah. But anyway, here's the thing. I just watched a clip of the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kahiga. Is that his name? Kahiga. Yeah, Kahiga. Who seems to be basically celebrating the passing of Raila Odinga. Listen, Kenyans, listen, Gen Zs of all tribes, of all ages. You have to stay vigilant. This is a distraction. You know why they're doing this. You know why, right? Let's get started. Let me start with the formalities, okay? If this is your first time here, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Gandhi, I see you. Thank you so much. If this is your first time, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, I talk about Kenyan politics and world politics as it relates to Kenya. This is what this channel is about. So if you like that kind of content, please take a minute and hit the subscribe button and like and share and comment to the chat. We can exchange ideas and talk about what's going on in Kenya. And I'm going to be at least as fair-minded as I can be. Let's not fall into these traps of tribal division, tribal vitriol, all our biases, whatever the case is. We can have a nice political discussion without actually start spewing mean words towards each other. Just because you're from this tribe, I'm going to say this, whatever the case is. No, we're not going to do that. But anyway, guys, take a minute and like the video. Like Omugendi Katende is telling me, Omugendi, please, I will invite you one of these days and tell me what's going on in Uganda, because there were rumors a few days ago that Museveni was also rushed to the hospital. I don't know how true that is, but I hope you're doing well in Kampala or whatever the case you are in Uganda. I hope every Ugandan is okay and safe and feeling good. Let's get to it. Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga celebrates Raila Odinga's death. Now, to be fair to him, that's what said. A lot of people who are Kikuyu speakers, please come and help me out here, because I saw the clip. It seems like he was, I don't know if he was drunk or he was sober, but he expressed himself in his mother tongue. Gypsy Corner, I see you. Not Gypsy Corner. Goody, I see you. Karibu Sana, the first order of business, okay? He was expressing himself in Kikuyu. I'm not a Kikuyu speaker, but those who speak Kikuyu are saying, who understand Kikuyu, are saying that this guy was basically celebrating the death of Raila Odinga, saying that this guy, like, basically, I'm quoting him, quotes, that Raila Odinga had been the enemy of Mount Kenya for a long time, and now he's gone. So, and a lot of people are trying to, like, rope in Gachagua in this, because we all know the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kahiga, is a very, very close friend, I think personal friend of Gachagua. So they're just saying that, oh, that's Gachagua, basically, who sent Kahiga to say this in public, to let their real feelings known. Now, I'm not going to say all that, because, let's just hold Mutahi Kahiga accountable for what he said, okay? Thank you so much, Gypsy, for liking and sharing. Let's just hold the individual who said it responsible, okay? Now, this is what I will tell you guys. That's why I keep on telling you, in the next few weeks, days and weeks and months, this Ruto administration and the political class, I've been always telling you in this channel that all these members of the political class, all of them, are in cahoots. They are working together. Do not be fooled by this opposition and CUS's government. They are working together. These guys are friends. That's why you see when Raila dies, they reveal things that we didn't know. These guys were, Uhuru and Raila Odinga, they used to drink uji. If you know what uji is, was basically booze. Okay? And these guys in public in the daytime, they swear they're like the sworn enemies, whatever the case is. And we, Wananchi, we will find ourselves in the middle of their fake beef, going to the extent of killing each other. Okay? Over what? Friends who are just playing us as a fiddle. So anyway, Mutahi Kahiga's pronouncements, whatever he said, in kind of celebration of Raila Odinga's death, basically being happy that Raila is gone, is carefully crafted, designed, and delivered to do what? To erect, to stir up tribal division. Because I told you, the discussion right now, the discussion among Gen Zs and Kenyans in general, they are actually getting into terms with these 8 laws that Ruto assented to, okay, when Raila was announced to be dead. Okay, so now the nation, I'm not talking about the newspaper, I'm talking about the people of Kenya, majority of the people of Kenya are coming to terms with the particulars about these draconian laws. 8 laws that were passed in the past, last Friday, I think, last Thursday, okay, the day that news broke that Raila died. So the news was a distraction, you know, to distract us from actually looking into these laws. But hawana bahati, Ruto has no bahati, because even though Raila was being mourned, there's a good number of Kenyans who stayed vigilant and they know about these laws. And now that Raila has been buried, now people are starting to pay close attention to what these laws are saying. And the people are outraged, apoplectic, mad, okay? And there's plans of people going to the streets. Everyone is echoing the same sentiments. So Ruto and the political class and his allies, they have to come up with a plan. The first step, when there's a crisis looming, remember when I told you guys, when June 24th, 2020, sorry, June 25th, 2024, when it was Occupy Parliament, after Parliament was successfully occupied, the Gen Zs were planning on going to the State House. But whenever there's a looming crisis, Ruto is facing crisis, he has to come up with a plan to divert the focus, the attention of the protesters. So how did he do it in June 25th? He used the commercial activists who blended in with the protesters, pretending to be part of the protest. And they positioned themselves, acted as if they were the most influential choreographers, okay, of this. They were in charge of this protest. And they started suggesting that, hey, listen, guys, it's not a good idea going to the State House because it's a protected area. Mutauliwa. Remember wakina Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa, and all those clowns, the human rights, whatever his name is, Mohammed Khaled, whatever his name is, okay? Wakaanza kutuambia, guys, go back home, State House is a protected area, tutauliwa. If it was about kuuliwa, there were enough Gen Z who were already waliuliwa on their way to State House. So it didn't make sense for them to tell us to stop. Kim, I see you, karibu sana. Yes, Kim, you're right. Oh, I have to highlight this message. Kim, I'm really liking your comments. You are on task. You're on top of it. Okay? You are seeing what I'm seeing. We are officially in rage bait season. Shots are being fired both from Murima and Lake. It will get worse from here on. Abso-freaking-lutely. I might just shut down this video and just go home, because you've nailed it on the head. rage bait. So, to continue with my thoughts, like I was saying, when there's a crisis looming, Ruto uses his first lieutenants on the front line, the fake commercial activists. Since we were on the ground and they blended in with the protesters, they diverted the attention, the initial plan of going to the status, and that's how Ruto survived. So in this case, Raila is dead. Everyone is coming into terms, are starting to understand what's really on these bills that were passed and now are law. The 11 parastatals that are sold already or are in the process of being sold, the land laws, the cybercrime laws, how punitive, restrictive they are. Okay? People are coming to terms with that because Raila now is Storia Raila Imeisha. I told you. Majority of us have the Mugedi is telling you Museveni's playbook. I don't know how Museveni operates in Uganda, but I will take your word for it, Mugendi. Okay? So they use that funeral, to divert attention from actually people looking into the law. So now that Raila is dead and the attention is away from Raila is resting in peace. Now everyone is now chambuaring what is in the law. If you go to the X, in your X pages, you'll see everyone is trying to read through the laws, what it actually says. People are posting, and everyone is shocked. Yes, good ear. Ruto is holding the keys to ODM. ODM is gone. ODM is in Ruto's pockets already. Okay? So here we are. What could it be? What can the political class and Ruto's regime being the mascot of this corrupt political class of Kenya, what can they come up with to actually play into our emotions? Itugawanyishe, itutenge, so that we are not one, we don't speak with one voice. Because before these pronouncements by Kahiga, everyone was in one space. Everyone had the same thought. We were like, land law, we have to go to the streets. Whether you're from the Mulima, whether you're from Nyanza, of course, majority of Nyanza people are still, it's ODM, but those who are not mourning, who are already over Raila's death, they were also expressing their displeasure about these laws that Ruto just signed into law. So the country was uniting in opposition of these laws. So what can they come up with? They use the oldest trick in the book. I keep on telling you. Today we already saw what's that name? That guy, Kaluma. For those of you who don't know Kaluma is like the Gachagua version of Luo Nyanza. He doesn't have much influence in Luo Nyanza, but I'm talking about in rage baiting, in inciting tribal division. Okay? He was on one of the radio shows, I forgot the name of it, with CT and that other young man. And he was talking about how people were making fun of him for the incident, the alleged incidents that happened to him when he went to St. Petersburg. Of course, he denied it and said it wasn't him. But he was trying to justify the cybercrime law by saying that, you see how I'm getting bullied on X or on the internet. When I post something on my X page or Twitter page, people start making fun of me. They call him Kanyuma, and they start reminding him of what happened to him in St. Petersburg, that incident. If you know, you know. And he was like acting like he was the biggest victim in the world, saying, oh, can you imagine my relatives, my loved ones, reading this about Kanyoma and all that stuff? This is why we need cyber law. Basically, that's what he was trying to say. What am I getting at? I think Kim basically put it the right way. It is diversionary tactics that the Ruto and the political class wanataka kuanza. So Kahiga coming out in public, making such statement, knowing very well what he says will actually go viral and will offend the people of the lake. I'm giving it, let me look at the time. I'm giving it a few minutes before you get response from one of those ODM folks, whether it's a Tandy, Mbadi, Junet, somebody. They're about to have a reply, because they want this back and forth. The oldest trick in book, as my friend Amugendi has told us, apparently Museveni is using it in Uganda. What are they trying to do? The useful idiots, those wakora ambao wanaendanga kwa streets, okay? And the young folks who express themselves on Jacaranda, those are the mouthpieces that will be used to further this division. Watalipwa, waende wakaseme, oh, wait, I'm telling you, I'm giving it 5 minutes. Go watch. You scroll down your internet. Don't King, I see. Absolutely, thank you. We're not buying it. Don't King, thank you so much. That's why I'm telling you, you know what? The unfortunate part, Don King and others, the unfortunate part of it is this. There are actually people who will buy into this tribal nonsense. Because the next thing you know, somebody from the lakeside, whether it's Junet or Mbadi or whatever the case is, some politician from the lakeside, Luo, will say something offensive about the people of Mlema and Gachagua. So we can have this ping-pong game of throwing offensive, tribal, vitriolic language between the two. This is designed to divide the flock. Kabisa? Yes, Omugendi. It is designed to divide the flock. The flock being the Kenyan people. Wanataka, remember I told you, remember when I took you back, when Raila entered into this blood-based government, Raila helped Ruto to stop a successful mandamano by the Gen Zs by doing two things. Sending his goons on the streets to physically intimidate, rob, beat, have a physical confrontation with these Gen Zs with the help of the police forces who are overwhelmed, but this time they had Raila's goons to help him. And Sakaja's goons. That was the number one way of how Raila helped Ruto diffuse the Gen Z movement on the streets, the protest, the popular protest, Operation Occupy State House. Number two, Raila and the ODM, okay, used the tribal card, of course, with the help of Gachagua on the other side. They used it by making it, by labeling these young folks that were going to the streets, saying that these are Vijana wa Mount Kenya. These are Gachagua supporters. These Gen Zs are paid for by Gachagua. This is not Gen Zote. This is not a representation of every Kenyan. This is just watu wa mlima wamekasirika because ati Wajaluo wako kwa serikali. Remember how they coined it in such a clever way? They made it a tribal thing. Sasa sio Gen Zs. Wanawambia hii si Gen Z ya ile Gen Z ya zile za nini ya June 24th. Sasa ni watu wa mlima. It is the people mlima who are not happy because Wajaluo wako kwa serikali. So wacha tuwaambie ati wawachane na ninio. Waende ninio. Maandamano haitafanyika Nairobi. You see, so Raila used these goons along with the governor of Nairobi. Okay? I mean, we saw those wale wakora wa Nairobi. They were saying, making videos saying wanasema waziwazi ati kutakuwa na there'll be no maandamano in Kenya. I mean, sorry, in Nairobi, in CBD. Okay? Alikuwa nasema waziwazi. They were saying it live. But the aim was to intimidate and physically attack. That way, haionekani ati polisi are intervening directly. Watasema ati it's a clash between two factions. The people who are for the maandamano and the people who are against the maandamano. And then they labeled that confrontation as a tribal clash. Watu wa mlima, vijana wa mlima wametoka huko Mount Kenya na wamekuja kuleta makelele Nairobi. Because they are unhappy that Wajaluo wako kwa serikali. So the same thing they're igniting by using the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kahiga, to start the fire again as a distraction from what all Kenyans are discussing, what Kenyans are focused on, which is the way to repeal these 8 laws that Ruto has passed. And Kenyans were already reaching a consensus, an agreement, a conclusion that it is the streets that will stop Ruto, which will force him to repeal these 8 laws that he has passed. It was catching momentum. So Ruto, through his friend Mutahi Kahiga, made inflammatory comments that he knows it's designed to spite the people of Nyanza. Since he has thrown an alley-oop to Wakina Kaluma on the lakeside, these Raila minions, orphans, will take this an opportunity to try to score a few cool points with the people of Nyanza. By doing what? Returning the favor. By doing what? Verbally making incendiary, offensive, vitriolic comments about the people of Mlema or their leaders, so that the youth can look at it and say, wale Wajaluo wanatutukana. And on the other side, hawa watasema, oh, wale Wakikuyu wanatukana Raila Odinga na Raila Odinga ni our leader. Atunafurahia ati Raila amekufa. You see what I'm saying? That's what they want. So that the focus cannot be on these laws that we are all starting to agree that, you know what? We need to go to the streets and force Ruto and the parliamentarians to repeal these laws. That is what is happening. And like Kim said, let me highlight the comment here. Okay? Kim says something that I will highlight it again. We are officially in rage bait season. They're baiting us to anger. Shots are firing. Those shots are being fired both from Murima and the lake. And it will only get worse from here. Absolutely. They will intensify. They will intensify this division because they know historically, since Tom Mboya's death, since Jaramogi and Jomo had their own beef, okay? Since those days, Wajaluo fell out with the Kikuyus. Not all, but that's the perception, historical perception that majority of Kenyans have. So from then, it was always tension. Yes, the Luos have united with the Kikuyus, as we saw in 2002, and many other occasions. And if you think about it, it is always only on the political front. So they are using that same old trick to divert attention from what all Kenyans, including Luos and Kikuyus, are focusing, which are laws that will affect all of them, both Luos and Kikuyus, and Luyas and Kurias and all other tribes that we have in Kenya. So they want to intensify it. And see, I told you, the first layer of protection that Ruto uses is disinformation through the commercial activist, not only the one that pretend that wanaendanga maandamano, but the ones that you see on TV, on your X pages, virtual world. But that's a battle that is very hard for him to win. It's a very hard battle for Ruto to win that battle, because amejua Twitter, IG, TikTok, hapo ukwanga ukweli. You understand? So there, he will have a hard time. Okay? That's why, karibu sana Kenya democracy, that's why Ruto knows he will never win on the battle, the virtual world, on X or TikTok or other ninio, uko kwa mtandao. So what he did, he passed this cybercrime law. Ndio anyamazishe zile sauti ambayo inakuja na ukweli, na ile sauti ambayo ya propaganda inaendelea mbele. Okay? So that's what he's up to. That is what Ruto is up to. And it's not only Ruto, like I say, it is the political class. This is a fight for survival for them. He knows he won't win the election with free online press. Absolutely. Ruto is never going to win this election. He's going to steal it. Oh, let me just watch any. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned something about election. Are you following what is happening with the registration? All of you, everyone that's watching, are you guys following what is happening with the registration? Ukienda kuregister huko. I don't know wale watu wa kusema ati endeni nikachukue kura. I told you guys. What? Can you please subscribe while I take a sip of this coffee, jamani? I won't be here for long because I want to go watch Arsenal, but I'm here anyway. Even though I know they are going to lose. Listen to me. Listen to me. Have you heard of what is happening in IBC? Ukienda kuchukua kura. I told you, niliwaambia, every time you see these politicians or this political class, if they keep on telling you, chukua vote, chukua kura, enda kachukue kura, you have to be very careful. Be suspicious. They all agree on one thing. And then mkachukue kura, and then mkachukue kura, and then mkachukue kura. If Ruto is speaking one voice with Gachagua and is speaking one voice with Raila and is speaking one voice with Karua and is speaking one voice with Wamalo and Kalonzo, both opposition and people on the Ninio, wote, and they're all telling you ati endeni mkachukue kura, be careful. Ujue kuna kitu mbaya hapo. just know there's something, kuna kitu hapo, ndio maana wanakuambia enda kachukua kura. Me, I was very, very suspicious. Kila mtu anasema tuende tukachukue kura. Kila mtu, Babu Owino, Ruto, hala? Kwa nini mnataka tuende tukachukue kura? Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that's happening. It's on my X page. Go follow up. Somebody posted, I just reposted something for a young lady, and this is not the second. There's numerous reports of this in fact, people are starting to call out. For those of you who are still thinking about kwenda kuchukua kura, niliwaambia tuache kuharibu wakati tunaenda kuchukua kura. You are wasting time. Ruto anaenda kuiba. The only way is popular revolution, Nepal way. Sijui niwaeleze namna gani jamani. One day I'll go live here, nitakuwa hapa live uchi, ndio mwanze kunisikia, kwa sababu hamtaki kusikia. Nitakuja live uchi, so that you people can hear. Hii mambo ya kuchukua kura is a waste of time, si wadanganyi. Revolution ndio matibabu ya hawa wakora ambao wanaongoza Kenya. Hakuna siri nyingine. Hakuna siri. Siri ni revolution. Popular revolution. People's revolution. Now, this young lady, just to mambo ya kuchukua kura. Haya. Kim anasema kitu hapa. Anasema, Kim is really Kim. We've been hearing about those voter registration stories. That thing has been rigged 2 years in advance. Sha. Munasikia? I've been telling you guys, this thing ilirigiwa kitambo. Kitambo. If there's a word here, kitambo. Kitambo. Nyinyi vile, I don't know. Rigging ilishafanywa kitambo, hamusikii kitambo. Way back. Ndio maana akina Oscar Sudi, they're so comfortable. I told you, ndio maana hata ile nawakumbusha, ulikumbuka ile speech nani alitoa vile alienda huko ninio? Was it somewhere? Ruto. He said, and then mkachukue kura, lakini mjue uchaguzi ni 2027. That statement told me everything about Ruto, what Ruto is scared of. So anyway, this young lady went to take alienda kuchukua register to vote, and once she tried to confirm where her vote imeenda, anaambiwa ati I'll register in another different location. I don't know, in Kisumu or whatever the case is. Okay, so there is this, kuna hii mchezo inaendelea hapa IBC. Na guess what now? Wacha niwekee point hapa. Wacha niwekee point ambayo, another point that you need to know very quickly. Do you remember the IEBC amendment bill, which is now IEBC amendment law? Unakumbuka? It was amended because Raila Odinga and Opiyo Wandayi, Raila Odinga that is, ODM folks, they wanted to have a say on who will be part of the commissioners. Si mnakumbuka? Wakina Opiyo Wandayi wakaenda kupiga makelele, hey, we have to have a say, sijui nini. Hata Kalonzo was also in it. Alisema hata mtu wake mpaka kwa commission hapo. Unaona? Now, but the majority of the commissioners were people who were handpicked, chosen by Ruto and Raila. Then they went to the parliament, wakaapishwa, si ndio? Now they are the commissioners up there. But guess what's funny now? Now that Raila is dead, Raila is what? Dead. Ruto has taken over ODM. Ruto now is the ODM chairperson. And the people who are chosen, the commissioners who are chosen by Raila Odinga are now serving under Ruto. So Ruto has his own people, UDA people in the commission, as the commissioners of IBC, plus the ODM folks, the ODM appointed commissioners. So ukiweka ODM commissioners who are now taking their direct orders from Raila Odinga, who are taking their orders from Raila Odinga, and Raila Odinga now is dead, and Ruto has now usurped ODM. Now their orders is being taken directly from William Asamoei Ruto. Bado nyinyi mnaenda kuchukua kura. Good luck. Bado mnaenda kuchukua kura, si ndio? Haya. Mnaenda kuchukua kura. Good luck. You'll need it. And you're very happy that mnaenda kushinda. And by the way, did you hear what Ruto said the other day? Was it Ruto? Yeah, Ruto, I think. Alienda kusema ati we are putting, let me quote this right. Alisema, I'm paraphrasing, we will be putting inaitwaje? We will make sure that the results that are announced at the polling stations are verifiable. They are verifiable and then ni za ukweli. I'm paraphrasing. Ruto is saying that. Ruto anasema ati the results at the polling station, they will wanaeka ninio mechanism ambao they will make sure that the results that are announced at the polling station are verifiable and what? Yeah. Hint, hint. Hint, hint. Lakini nyinyi ndio wajanja, mnaenda kuchukua kura. Mnaenda kutoa Ruto. Amtaki. Nyinyi wajanja, mnaenda kutoa Ruto. You still believe you're going to remove him through the ballot. Charlie, I have a bridge to sell you. I have a bridge to sell you. The London Bridge. Nipigie simu. London Bridge na kuuzia, inauzwa, it's on sale. Kuja nikuuzie. Ama mnataka ile Brooklyn Bridge, ama ile bridge ya Sydney, nitawauzia leo. That is the game that is being played here. Tukiwaambia revolution, nyinyi mnafikiri revolution ni kupigana panga. No. Revolution si kupigana panga. And you'll hear people say, oh, revolution ati tukienda kwa street ati tutauliwa. Sasa unataka tukae chini tunyamaze tukiangalia kura ikiibiwa na Ruto anauza kila kitu. I mean, what option do you have? Seriously. Let's brainstorm. Mnataka option gani? Mnaenda kupiga kura? Seriously, nani anaenda kupiga kura saa hizi? Na hii IBC, nani anaenda kupiga kura? Hey, to quite serious, my friends. We have to be serious. We have to be serious. 2027 is a foregone conclusion. Nani anasema democracy sucks? Winston Churchill alisema, what did Winston Churchill say? There's a quote about democracy. Alisema, of all the democracy, it's the worst, but it's out of all of it, it's kind of the best, whatever the case. I forgot the actual about the democracy, but it's a funny one. Okay? About democracy, which is fine. Democracy, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Unajua kitu nimerealize, and this might be controversial to some people. I honestly don't think democracy, well, let me not say that. It's not a well thought out Ninio. But that's what I'm trying to say. Let's get back to the Ninio. There's so many, just like somebody has told me here, kuna watu wengi ambao wana complain, wanaenda ku register to vote. Wanaenda ku register to vote, because if you register to vote in let's say Kawangware, on election day you're supposed to go vote where? Kawangware. if that's where you want to go vote, unafaa kuenda kuvote. But wewe unaenda una register hapo Kawangware, ukienda kuangalia ati jina yangu iko wapi, unaambiwa ati your voting place ni iko huko ninio Kericho. Unafaa kuenda kuvote huko Kericho. And Ruto, of all the things he could say, alisema, you know, when I heard it, I had to laugh. I had to laugh because it's ridiculous. Mnaenda kuibiwa wazi wazi mkiangalia. Yani Ruto anawaambia, this is the level of madharau that Ruto has. Contempt that he has for Kenyan people, voters. Eh? Basically, Ruto is saying this. I'm going to steal, and this is how I'm going to steal. Please try to stop me. Good luck. Na nyinyi bado mnaenda, hey! Chukueni kura, chukueni kura, chukueni kura, chukueni kura, ongele, Hibim tabam, tabum, tabum, tabam. One time, two time, hoo-ha, ha. Twendeni tukatoe Ruto, Ruto one time, one time, tunaenda kumtoa. Boss. Niliwaambia kuna kitu inaitwa silence power. Silence power. Real power is silence. Ndio maana unaona Mungu anatembea kwa upole. Unaangi Mungu tunaona unamwangalia Mungu wako hapo anasema ndio mimi ni Mungu. No. Silence, it's very particular. And this is the most powerful being in the universe. He only speaks to a few. Ambao anataka kuninio, ambao anajua watamsikia. And the devil is using that too nowadays. Hata yeye pia anakupingi Mungu. Real power is silence. Nyinyi ile mnapiga makelele one time, one time, sijui nini. Yeye anapanga vitu huko IBC. And he's putting it in law. So when he mkimpeleka kotini atasema this is justified. Ilipitishwa. Sasa zile mnapiga mduru huko, Agomba amekufa. Amepitisha laws 8 of them that will affect you. By the time you finish crying, hiyo land ulikuwa unalilia, ukirudi kwa nyumba yako is no longer your nyumba. Unaambiwa taxes ni unalipa 50% of your income. Na ikifika certain time you losing your house, your land. Sasa mnasema tukachukue kura, na Ruto pia even Ruto is telling you endeni kachukue kura. Endeni kachukue kura. Lakini mjue ni 2027. Msijaribu kunitoa before then. Na mnaenda, tunaenda kuchukua kura, tutachunga kura, tutachunga kura. And Ruto has thrown you a hint by yesterday saying, was the day before Raila thing happened. Alisema, we will put mechanisms, whatever those kind of mechanisms are, that will ensure that the results at the polling station is verifiable and transparent. Because he knows the electoral presidential results are determined at the polling stations. Tuende tukachukue kura. Endeni. Unapiga kura, unaenda kuregister hapo Nairobi, Kawangware, unaambiwa wewe unafaa kupiga kura huko Narok. That's where your name is. Ile polling station huko Narok. Enda kapige huko. Una register hapo Kiambu. As a voter in Kiambu, unaambiwa wewe kura yako unafaa kupiga huko Kericho. Enda Kericho. Unaenda una register hapo Nyeri. Polling register kuvote hapo Nyeri. Unaambiwa wewe enda kwa ile police station iko huko kama Gambo, huko Ukwala. Huko Nyanza hapo. Enda hapo ndio jina yako iko. Sasa ukapiga kura huko. One time, while you're making noise, they're making moves and they're putting it in law. So in the future, if you take them to the court, utashindwa. Lakini mnasema Ruto is genius. Niliwaambia Ruto is not a genius. Ruto ni kama mwizi wa kuku. It's like a chicken thief. Anangoja saa zile mwenye kuku ameondoka, the owner of the chicken ameondoka, anaiba, alafu anaenda kuambia chief hii ilikuanga kuku yake na anapiga hiyo kuku kala nyingine. Lakini nyinyi mnasema ako genius. He's just distracting you. Ndio maana unaona anatumia watu kama Kahiga, Mutahi. Wa divide mwanze kugombana hapa. Kesho nimewaambia kesho asubuhi mtaamka mtasikia ati Kaluma has said ata tweet ambayo itaenda viral. Ati sijui Kikuyu sijui whatever. Alafu itaendelea. Alafu Gachagua naye atarukia with a 2-hour interview. Niliwaambia hii mchezo ni mchezo wa town. But there's one thing I will talk about in my next video. It's something about Kenyan politics and politicians. What Raila typifies. Okay? He typifies the average politician in Kenya. What do I mean by that? I'm coming back to Kahiga. Relax. What I mean is this. Majority of us Kenyans, we start well. Tunaanzanga na good intentions. Tunaingia hapo tunasema Nyeri system iko corrupt. Lakini I want to do something about it. We need to speak about it. Hatuwezi kuendelea hivi. That's how we start. And we are very vocal. And we hold a campaign tukisema mimi nikifika ikulu hizi ndivyo tutachange. Hata kama wewe ni member of parliament or governor, whatever the case is. Wote wako hivyo. You start very uko na ile zeal. You speak boldly to power. But the problem always comes when actually power is in your hands or you are confronted. Una face obstacle. For example, let me use myself as an example. I make videos about Kenyan politics and I'm very critical about the political system of Kenya. Okay? Now, the question is, if I start becoming influential to a point where people are actually listening, and Ruto is kind of troubled with what I'm saying, okay? If I get confronted by Ruto or through his emissaries, wanikaishe chini hapa waniambie, boss, when miangalia hizo video zako, man, you're not saying good things about me. Sasa wewe, fanya hivi, boss. We can either make a deal, mimi nitakurushia kitu hapa, utulie, na hii moto unaongea nayo hapa hivi. Or, nikikupata, it's on you. Omba Mungu. Basically a threat. Nitakumaliza, nikupeleke Kodiaga ama Kamiti, ama upotee, or nitakutupia kitu kidogo, unyamaze. This is the kind of challenges that you will face if you're criticizing the system. And when that time comes, that is when we shall be able to separate the real versus the fake. Unasikia? Because there are many people, many politicians who started by saying the right things. Wakina Kalwale, Raila Odinga, Orengo. All of these people. But at some point, they were confronted. And they had to make a choice. Raila did it in a very clever way. Moi alimconfront, akampeleka, detention, right? Now, we don't know those 9 years what transpired. I don't know if Moi made a deal with him. Did he actually serve those 9 years or whatever the case is? But when Raila came out, a few years down the line, the very person who had detained him for 9 years without trial, he joined hands with politically. Well aware, very cognizant of the fact that the policies and the way in which Moi was administering, and you're heading this nation, was an oppressive way of ruling, but he chose to stick with Moi. When Kibaki started, it started well. Kibaki lost his way. Raila akashikana na yeye. Uhuru came. Maybe he had good intentions, lost his way, and made no apologies about it. Raila ali shikana mkono na yeye. Ruto aliingia from the word go, messing up. Raila akasema there'll nothing come out about Ruto. Nothing good will come out from this Ruto's regime. Raila akashikana na yeye. What am I saying? In your political journey, for those of you who want to be politicians now, na hata watu sisi ambao tunasema revolutionary, tunataka revolution. The question is, when you get confronted by this oppressive regime, whether they are confronting you to offer you to compromise, or they're confronting you wakufanyia ile kitu, are you going to compromise and be part of the oppression, or are you going to stand up for what's real? Because this goes deeper than likes and sharing and all that. Do you mean what you say? Anyway, the biggest message here, ladies and gentlemen, without keeping you, I know you are probably watching Champions League football, is don't fall into this tribal bull crap that our kina Gachagua na Mutahi Kahiga and our kina Kaluma on the other side na sijui nani Junet wanataka kuanza hii vita ya Mountain versus Luo. Do not. Stay focused. The focus is the laws, the draconian laws that Ruto has signed into. Easy land ambao we are going to lose. The industries that we are losing. How can we get him to... Actually, I'm not even asking you to go to the streets to ask to repeal this ninio. Tusiende kwa streets so that Ruto can repeal this. Let's go out and to take him out through a popular revolution. It's in the article, first article in the Kenyan Constitution, Article 1, subsection 2. The people may exercise their sovereign power directly or through what? These elected officials, representatives, and they failed us. So it is time for us to express this directly. So tukienda kwa streets, we are not going to ask Ruto to repeal hizo 8 laws that he passed, hiyo cybercrime, na hiyo land law, na hiyo sijui nini, hiyo privatization bill, na hiyo mambo mengine. No. Kwa sababu ukimwambia I repeal atajifanya ati okay, I've repealed, na wanaisongesha hivi, alafu they are changing the language, alafu wanakuambia okay, now it is amended, tuko sawa sasa. Na mtanyamaza hapo mkininio, and the law will still be in place. The solution is to clear house. Ruto ishia. Na sio tafadhali. Tafadhali lipita kitambo. And this time Raila atakuja kusaidia. Utakimbia ukitoka kwa choo na chupi ukienda kusogoi. Ruto, utakimbia kama umevaa chupi ya yellow imeandikwa UDA. Ukikimbia unaenda ninio sugoi. Now wanasiasa hawa, the parliamentarians, same thing. It is not time to talk about repealing this and repealing that, sijui to change hii, sijui privatization. Because guess what? Unajua nini? Let me tell you how these people will, hawa wanasiasa hawa wakina sijui wakina Maraga and our opposition, this fake opposition, wakina Martha Karua and Kalonzo, they are going to use this opportunity to score some political points. Wanataka kurukia, au pia wajifanya ati we need to tell Ruto, let us go protest, ndio Ruto are repealing ninio. We are not going to accept this. The problem is not about repealing sections of these laws or these laws entirely. The problem is these people who are in power, who has been sitting on us for years, decades, since Moi days, since Jomo's days, in 1960s up to this day. The problem is them. So we are going to clear out the house through a popular people's revolution. Kila mtu aende nyumbani. Then we shall start addressing the laws. Then we shall start repealing the laws. Then we shall institute and implement the constitution as it was meant to be. The problem is not repealing of these laws. The problem is not amending these laws. The problem is not going out there to try to sijui kufanya hizi law. The problem ni hawa watu, the individuals. They're all corrupt from top down, bottom up. Wame corrupt wote. So we have to clean house. And it will not be solved by going to the ballot. You've already seen hizi cases. Unaenda kuregister hapo ninio Kiambu, unaambiwa ati wewe utaenda kuvote huko na nyuki. Unaenda kurenew register hapo Eastleigh, unaambiwa wewe enda ka vote huko ninio Kipkorgot. That's how you do it. Anything less than that is hot hogwash. Unasikia? Anything less than what I just said, a popular revolution, ni story meant for entertainment and excitement. Because this is what these politicians want to do, especially the ones on the opposition. They'll take this opportunity, Nyeri, easy laws, they are so bad. Ruto was trying to be sneaky. Sijui nini. Now pia utaona wamevaa kabuti wanaenda huko kwa street wanajifanya ati hao pia they are the people. Because now there's a vacuum left by Raila Odinga and everyone is scrambling to fill it. From Babu Owino to Sifuna to Gachagua to whatever the case is. Unaelewa? Everyone wants to be the crowd's favorite because the crowd favorites, I guess, ametoka. Unaelewa? So have that in mind. Don't fall for Kabila. Do not. They'll even try violence. I'm pretty sure atajaribu. Utaona watu wataanza kupigana sijui Kericho hapo. What's that border there? Nakuru. To excite, kuwatoa focus. Meanwhile, how politicians now pia watajifanya, they'll be talking about repealing these laws. Oh, we should repeal this. We should repeal that. The problem is not, it's deeper than just repealing one law. It is the whole entire system that is rotten, that needs to be overhauled. Na tukisha overhaul atumalizi tu hivyo, tutafungua vitabu. Ruto, hii plot ulitoa wapi? Wapi? Kalonzo. Ni Yaya Center Mayata sijui whatever. Hii ulinunua namna gani? Mshahara yako ni hivi, Okay, committee. That's how you solve problems. Tunawaambia. But watch. In the coming days, they're now lining up. They want to go to Citizen TV. They want to go to KTN. Everyone wants to say good things about Raila. Oh, Raila, the father of Siju democracy. Hey, I used to work with Raila. He had good intentions. And now you see Ruto is passing things that were contrary to what Raila believed. Raila did not believe in anything democratic. Raila alikuwa amesimama hapo the last month akisema ati pipeline iuzwe tupate pesa. Father demokrasia gani? Raila alikuwa amesimama hapo anatuambia Adani is a very good company. Na Adani wamekuwa sued hapo hata India, wamesued Australia, wamekuwa in fact the owners of Adani they have a active bench warrant in US, wanatafutwa waende kotini. Na father of democracy alikuwa anasema Adani is a very good company. Very good company. Pipeline iuzwe tupate pesa. Kalonzo, mimi niliwaambia kujua Kalonzo is a conman. Kalonzo ni conman mwenyewe. Conman Junior. But I don't want to make it about Kalonzo today. Ndio maana naambia the only solution, I have to pound this in your head as I wrap up. Revolution is the only solution. Let's focus. These laws, let it be the reason, the precipitator, the catalyst the reason to fire us to the streets so we can go and occupy State House and tell William Samoei, toka. Na sio tafadhali, toka. Na sio, not right now, but right now. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, distinguished guests, Omugendi, Bruce, Yakgev, Goodyear, Kenya Democracy, everybody else, Kim, with your wonderful comments, I would like to thank you. I will leave it here. So do me a favor. Before you leave, use that finger. Hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Tang, 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 tang. Hit the subscribe. That bell button here, your notification. Hit it. Make sure it's on. And that like button too. Okay? So make sure you subscribe. And share this with your friend. Share this with Ruto. Share it with Babu Owino. Share it with everybody else. Gachagua, Mutahi, Kagwe. Let him know that, hey, listen, Mutahi, Kahiga, we are not buying into this ukabila. Na. Raila alimaliza na hiyo mambo. Siasa mpya, Kenya moja. Hakuna ile ujinga sijui ya watu wa Mountain, watu wa Luo, Nyanza, watu wa sijui wa Coast, watu sijui wa Ukambani. Kenya ni moja. Okay? Na tutakutoa Ruto, na tutoe hawa wanasiasa wote, na tuwapeleke kamiti. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, share, like, comment, do all the good stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and blessings.